we go. Yep, he knows these medevacs are coming. Okay, let's switch back to everyone's view. And now, he doesn't know about these Vikings, and that's a little understandable, but he does know about these medevacs. He should be doing something about them, and taking down your own rocks. This is a really bad decision by Nick. So this opens up this wide avenue of attack from his back door, even though his opponent is actually more mobile than he is right now. That is, he's using these medevacs pretty well to just exploit that terrain, I guess. And now the Marauders are going to be able to snipe out this Nexus, but NSNick, by the way, is charging up the front here. And he was a lot more effective. I'm going to rewind, actually. There we go. No, wait. Yeah, so he just charged up here and did some damage. But, again, you're losing your natural is a lot more important than dealing a little tiny bit of damage. He took out, I think, 2 supply depots and maybe a few Marines. So this Nexus will go down. Okay, looks like he does have those warp gates in use. He should be chrono boosting them though. He has plenty of energy. Let's see where he warps those next round of units in. Yeah, sitting idle now. And again, so much money in the bank. And he rebuilt this assimilator, but it's still not mining at all. Okay, at least he's warping inside the base. That's good. So now he should know about those Vikings. He really needs to pull all these units back to try and defend. But ooh, looks like he might lose his main as well. So I think he's focusing way too much on this front. He's not getting a lot of damage done, and he really needs to try and defend this. It's pretty late for him to save this Nexus. Looks like he will lose this Nexus. And a lot of these Vikings probably will get taken down. And look at all these idle units that could be helping out, that could have saved this Nexus. Just something to think about when you have the ability, when you have the APM to really deal with that. And he's going to retake his main. That's a fine idea. He has no control over his natural anymore. Looks like he still has a stalker inside Augie's base. And again, idle units over here that could have been used to either defend or make this attack much more potent. Looks like that was another round of warp gate units. Oh well, maybe. Getting up a Stargate now. Okay, so the Stargate to help counter the Vikings, to counter the medevacs, seems really awkward. It's way too late at this point to try and establish air control, because he knows that there's been a lot of Vikings that have been coming out, and yeah, reactor being rebuilt on this starport. So 2 Vikings will always beat 1 Phoenix, unless, you know, they're at like 2 health and the Phoenix is at full. But when they're both at when both groups of units are at full health, the Vikings will win. So it's going to take a while, even to build up a force, a decent Phoenix force. Void Rays against Marauders maybe, but Marines are certainly, well, there should be more Marines, but there aren't. The Stalker just being a little annoying. And again, so NSNick knows that he has the Stalker and he's able to do some damage here. He might want to just move in with these units right now into his opponent's base. So, because the Stalker isn't being counterattacked right now. Okay, now the Marines are going to move in, and those Vikings aren't going to pop out in time. Looks like 1 Marine will die. And he has reserve mining and kind of pro production. Let's look at that income again. Oops, there we go. Yeah, down to just 13 workers, and at least he's keeping control of those chrono boosts now. And okay, a Phoenix is on the way. Still getting some more Immortals. And now another Marauder job. Probably going to be able to take out this Nexus again. So, all the units have moved out. Those Marauders are on the way. This Phoenix is going to be pretty useless. They might be able to take down a single medevac. And both players just kind of watching each other here. There we go. This Marauder's finally going to be dropped off. And take out all the probes. Okay. Wow. And Graviton Beam, don't use it when you only have 1 Phoenix. Unless you have Stalkers underneath. Then they can kind of help. But while you're using that Graviton Beam, you can't shoot when you have it up. And these Marauders doing their job pretty well, taking down the Nexus and that assimilator. 3 Harvesters left, 3 probes. One over there. I think there was one at the tower, yep. But he is going to move in here and do some pretty decent damage. Yeah, Augie actually doesn't have anything to contest this. He needs to be using the units a little bit better. There we go. No, not quite. Going to the SCV line there. Well, Zealots will be able to take care of that. So it's a bit of a base trade at this point. It's gonna be difficult for Augie because, well, how much money is in the bank? Oh, 50 minerals, never mind. So it's gonna be difficult for Nick to really get this done properly. He does have a better army. These Immortals do counter those Marauders pretty well, and there's just one of them? Let's take a look. Oh, 3 of them, yeah. 3 of them can easily take down at least 6 of these Marauders. And then the rest of the army will be able to take them off. And yeah, this is what I was going to talk about. Augie can lift off and run away. So Nick does have these Stalkers, that sentry, to help deal some damage to these guys. Actually, okay, it does not have any more SCVs. He has so much money in the bank, though. Wow. There we go. Those rocks being killed, so the Stalkers have a little bit more mobility. And these buildings are all gonna die. I think before this, Nick did have 250 minerals in, and but he warped in 2 Zealots. I think it would have been better to warp in maybe 1 Zealot or a Stalker, and then build a pylon over here, or somewhere where he feels confident defending. And, okay, at this point, you just want to get one of the buildings burning so you can go after the other one. Going for the starport is fine right now. You just need to get it into the red so it starts burning, and you can ignore. Not like this. Don't get into yellow. Get into red. And the rest of these buildings are being killed off right now. Okay, it's into orange. We're close. Come on, just move from here. Okay. So I guess this is another place to work on. So Nick should be. You want these buildings burning. That's the really important part. You're not really sure that there's no more SCVs, but once it starts burning, he's gonna need to repair it because there's very few buildings left for him. Looks like Nick is just gonna counter now, and he should be able to take this down, no problem. Actually, he's gonna lose a few units, but yeah, most of them are gonna die, and Nick probably gonna get away with this game. So to recap, yeah, there's the GG. So to recap, Nick needs to do some more scouting, most importantly. So he really suffered from lack of scouting in that early game, even up until the late game. Really, those Vikings dropping down, those the Marauder drops from the Medivacs were just doing a lot of damage, a ton of damage to him. And if he had just seen those coming, he would have been able to prevent all of it, or at least most of it. And the other thing is, he took this expansion without scouting, so an early push would have really devastated him. He got out this single gateway, and if he was really worried, I guess, well, no, that's probably bad phrasing. So, if Nick had, he should be getting more gateways, that's what I'm trying to say. His macro isn't the best, which is very understandable at a silver level. So you just don't have the APM to keep up production, but when you do, that means that your money is going to accumulate, which means that you want more warp gates, more robotics facilities, more stargates, so that every time you do get a chance to get around to producing your units, you'll get a whole bunch of them instead of just a few of them. And the unit composition was actually pretty solid. I would have liked to see a few more stalkers, but it did work out pretty well for him. These cannons, he got the forge a little early. He didn't really need to be getting the cannons against Terran, because even if the cannons, there could be like a dozen cannons here, and the Terran would still be able to kill these rocks. So the cannon's a little unnecessary against Terran in particular. Against Protoss, not that good either, because Stalkers can outrange that, and Zealots will probably just push your front area over here. And of course, Immortals and Sentries can destroy that as well, out of range of the Sentry. Against Zerg, it's fine. It's a good idea. It'll prevent those Lings from bringing down, or at least dealing some damage to your rocks. And I think it actually ranges some of the roaches if they're angled improperly. But anyway, a decent job overall. Nick really just needs to work on getting up more gateways so that when he does macro up, when he does start getting out that army, he'll be able to get out more units. His unit compositions really, I did like them. The tech was a little late. That's okay. The scouting is probably the most important thing, though. Getting a better view of the map. Maybe just ignoring that tall council originally, going for this road facility every time, getting at those observers, sorry, and then just trying to see what his opponent is up to. And of course, sending out that probe at 9 or 10, make sure that you have a decent scout in. So that's it for this one. I do have well, I might have another game on the way. So I will see you next time, and thanks for watching.